Star Wars Outlaws is being drugged through the mud, ladies and gentlemen. I think it's dead on arrival, and I've never seen anything quite like it. The gaming industry and video games and consumers, we're usually pretty divisive when it comes to video games. People like or hate a video game. Well, somehow, some way, Star Wars Outlaws has unified the gaming community, and the majority of people are against it. Now, yeah, there's a handful of people that are still praising this game and looking forward to it. And me being a long-term Star Wars fan, I gotta admit, I'm probably still going to check it out. But let's be honest, this train wreck that's been happening with the game has been quite entertaining. And if you've been watching my channel, I've been covering Star Wars Outlaws for the last couple of weeks. There's been a mess of stuff, man. I don't know how there's so much involved with this game, from the way that employees of Ubisoft are being exposed, to how the story trailer has been mass disliked, to even how the pricing structure of this game has caused a lot of uproar. And yeah, it's been facing a wave of criticism from all these various sources that is huge, a backlash like none other. And I just, it's basically dead on arrival, ladies and gentlemen, which you hate to see it. I, for the most part, have I guess, a decent opinion of Ubisoft games. I know a lot of people are tired of the cookie cutter formula they have with their open world games, and maybe that's attributing to it. They wanted a really good Star Wars open world game, and it seems like Ubisoft is going to play it safe. Who knows? We haven't played it yet, but look at this. The story trailer to this game has been mass disliked for various reasons, whether, again, any of the ones that I talked about, whether it's employees like the community manager being exposed for hating straight white men, which, to be honest, that didn't do it any favors. This day and age with DE&I basically infecting everything, and all these lunatics that just hate men, especially white men, infecting everything and pushing their SJW propaganda against everything. Gamers don't like that. The whole thing with Sweet Baby Inc. exposed exactly how some of these people in the industry feel about us, and we're striking back. So maybe the mass dislike had something to do with that. I think it definitely contributed to it, but then you also think about how people are just tired, again, like I said, of Ubisoft's cookie cutter formula. Maybe people are let down about that. And then you've even seen people criticizing the way that the main character's appearance is, that it's a major point of contention here. And that's part of, I guess, this whole ideology that people can't be sexualized in these video games. They don't want female protagonists to be sex objects. The saying is, go jerk off to something else besides video games, right? Well, I disagree on that. I think it's fine for eye candy. Look at Stellar Blade, for example. It's being met with the opposite end of criticism. The snowflakes don't like that the protagonist, Eve, is sexualized. Who really cares at this point, as long as it's a good video game? But I'll admit, I like to look at good-looking female protags in my video games and my movies and TV shows, but that's not what it's all about. It's because the character in Star Wars Outlaws is drastically different from the actual model that they based the character off of. They obviously did it to be spiteful towards the male gaze. They don't want male men to have anything to look at sexually. They don't want objectification. They're looking at it the wrong freaking way. And I'm not trying to say she's not that bad looking or anything, but there's an obvious difference here, and that's caused a huge wave of criticism, and we touched on that a little bit as well. But you gotta think, man, there's a season pass being placed onto the single player experience. You got to think of how sick gamers might be when, all these games as a service are out. And I'm guilty of it. I play Fortnite. I play Call of Duty. But those games have an online aspect that's constantly drip-fed through seasons. It's not a single-player experience. This Jabba the Hutt expansion is part of a locked experience behind a season pass. You literally cannot play certain aspects of the single-player game because they're locked behind a season pass. That is ridiculous. For a single-player game experience, you're locking stuff behind paywalls. That's not good. That's actually really disappointing. And honestly, I feel that might also be a contributing factor. I've never seen the internet be so upset over one game, almost to the point where we're almost completely unified. You think about how divisive certain games are, like Hogwarts Legacy, even Call of Duty, how divisive the gaming industry can be. It seems like everybody hates Star Wars Outlaws at this point. And then think about how the pricing structure is for this game. There's base prices that are ranging everywhere from $70 to over $100 just in certain regions. You could be dropping a full bill on this game if you live in a certain area, and that's nuts to think about. And that's not even full access to the game. Again, you got all the stuff locked. You would probably have to shell out a whopping $130 to experience this full game, which is a single player experience. It's not like you're paying for online season passes that drip feed every season like a Fortnite would. That's what one problem is. So again, I'm a pretty big Star Wars fan, to be completely honest, and I was looking forward to this game. I was interested in the gameplay and the action aspects and gameplay mechanics and everything about this. So when I saw Star Wars Outlaws and I heard it was going to be open world, I was like, hell yeah, let's do it. I enjoyed some Ubisoft games in the past, like the first couple Watch Dogs games. I liked Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I didn't think that Mirage was half bad. I liked Black Flag. But let's be honest, a lot of Ubisoft games feel like Ubisoft games, and I think Star Wars deserves a lot better than that. And now we're getting more details, like with this locked paywall content, and I don't know. These are significant issues when it comes to having to shell out money for a single player video game. The content structure is just bad. I mean, including a single player DLC season pass thing is ridiculous. Certain content, like I mentioned, like Jabba the Hutt, who's a pivotal character in the Star Wars universe, is locked behind a paywall, even though it's been advertised as part of the base game. I don't know why there's any kind of like value of adding a season pass to a single player experience, or why it's even justified to charge extra for something that should be in the game. Again, if it was like a game as a service or a live, online game that had access to like multiplayer aspects and stuff, I could forgive it. I could honestly forgive it, but it's not. This is a single player experience game, and this is a scary sign of things to come, especially when you hear game companies wanting to go digital and not letting us own our games, and you're seeing stuff be delisted, and you need internet access to install certain games. It's becoming very worrisome. And then let's touch back on that character design thing. I don't know. It just seems like everything is mismatched when it comes to this community manager and the people that work for Ubisoft. There's going to be a lot of stuff pushed in this game that a lot of people that are anti SJW or anti woke aren't going to like. It's not a good sign when I see certain employees posting stuff, hiding behind protected tweets. Then we get characters that are uglified on purpose. Honestly, a character's appearance should be the last thing that we worry about. It should be about the gameplay, the story, is the game fun? But let's be real. It's probably not going to be because of everything else that's going wrong with this game. I mean, just alone with the paywall content, the pricing structure, it's causing a heated backlash against this game, like I said, with the dislikes. And a lot of people are basically calling for a boycott of this game. And they're expressing disappointment with the way that Ubisoft is handling things with such a good franchise. And I think it's important that we speak up. Star Wars is already messed up enough as it is with just Disney on the side of movies and TVs and stuff. But I don't know. You have to think that Disney is giving a little bit of input to Ubisoft with the development of this game. But it just seems like right now they're not making smart decisions overall with this. So I just want to know your thoughts. I wanted to talk a little bit about it. What are your thoughts on all this Star Wars Outlaws controversy at this time? Do you agree with the pricing and the content structure and hiding stuff behind a season pass and a paywall, or is it a cash grab? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you for watching.